Good evening. The full-scale tragedy in Japan is also a full-scale nuclear emergency. The crisis is now seen as worse than 3 Mile Island, and the release of radiation has prompted a major evacuation. The people of Japan across a wide area are being told to seal themselves in their homes. A fourth fire at the quake-stricken Fukushima nuclear power complex dramatically escalated the nuclear crisis today. Japan officials say radioactivity is being released directly into the atmosphere. An estimated 70,000 people have been evacuated from a 12-mile area around the nuclear plant. Even in Tokyo, elevated levels of radioactivity were detected. Officials say, though, not enough to cause health problems. Locally, a Fenton company is ramping up production of a potentially life-saving drug for those exposed to radiation. As News Channel 5's Casey Nolan reports, Fleming Pharmaceuticals is working to ship potassium iodide to Japan. Casey?
Yeah, Mike, the facility here in Fenton is running nearly around the clock trying to keep up with demand. At the same time, the owners are trying to figure out why the federal government here in the States would cancel an order for millions of doses in case of a similar emergency here. It's a small production line for a product that was little known, at least until the troubles in Japan.
We're running 20 hours a day, and we're preparing to ramp up to 24/7.
With news of a radiation leak at a nuclear power plant caused by last week's earthquake, the head of Fleming Pharmaceuticals says hundreds of orders have flooded the office for this tiny bottle of potassium iodide.
Individual families, we're hearing from pharmacies, institutions, we're hearing from governments, other countries, so we've really been inundated in the last couple of days.
The raspberry-flavored liquid can prevent thyroid cancer in those exposed to radiation. Shipments are headed to Japan for citizens, first responders, and even journalists.
The beauty of this, it's ready to go for daycare centers, pediatric hospitals, or even for families at home.
But there is one customer that will not be renewing their order for this potentially life-saving liquid: the federal government. Fleming Pharmaceuticals says from 2005 to 2007, they sold nearly 5 million doses to the feds, all to be stockpiled in case of a nuclear emergency in the U.S. The company says that supply will expire this spring, and with no explanation, no replacements are on order.
It's frustrating in that you want the American people to be protected. I understand budget constraints, but it is something that you could easily protect the citizens of the United States if we just put it into the stockpile.
We certainly don't think that there's need for widespread panic. What we're trying to do is assess how big is the problem, and anticipate what will the government need, whether it's going to be through a federal program or state programs, and then we'll be prepared to do what we can to ensure that citizens are protected.
Now, Fleming is the only manufacturer of the liquid form of potassium iodide. There is a solid form that comes in a pill that's selling out on the West Coast. The Obama administration says those on the West Coast should not be worried about the leak in Japan, but as for their plans for any stockpiling, we have yet to receive a clear answer. Live in Fenton, Casey Nolan, News Channel 5.
Now,